County is the highest taxed county in the nation. The high cost of living and working here is the #1 complaint we hear from the business community every day. A recent survey of Westchester County Association members echoed this. These costs are out of control. Things must change. Westchester is in serious trouble. There is a call for a change in the way the public sector operates, a streamlined, more affordable, and more accountable state government. Mr. Ball, you mentioned New York State has thousands of taxing entities, where the average state has only 200. And there have been a number of studies, including this one, Local Government Efficiency and Competitiveness, that recommend ways to reduce the cost of government. So, Mr. Ball, I will ask you, you have been very critical of your opponent in your campaign. You referred to him as Tax Hike Mike, who has taxed and spent Westchester, in your words, to the dubious position of being the highest taxed county in America. Sir, if you are elected to the Senate, please tell us what specific steps you would take toward consolidation and reduction of local taxing authorities to ease this tax burden.
Yeah, I will be active not only in the legislature, but at the local level to bring about consolidation. My opponent is already backtracking and moving away from consolidation initiatives. I will roll up my sleeves at the local level, like in the Village of Brewster and in northern Westchester, to bring about consolidation at the local level, including school districts. And sure, I have been critical not of my opponent on a personal level, but taxing and raising spending. At the end of the day, this is the Sheldon Silver of White Plains. He was the chairman of Budget and Appropriations, and he says that I'm going to go to Albany and start a budget school. Well, I hope nobody attends, because we're in bad enough debt as it is. This man increased spending by over $1 billion, over 84% in new spending. And sure, state spending has gone up at the exact same time, but at the local level, he was rubber stamping those tax increases, rubber stamping those spending increases, and I'm very glad that he had a conversion at the deathbed of his political career, but it's too little, too late. I have fought from the very beginning to cap property taxes, free school taxes for seniors, eliminate unfunded mandates. I have voted against over 180 tax increases. I was voting against these budgets when even my own party thought it wasn't a cool thing to do. And I will arrive in Albany as an independent voice who is a strict fiscal conservative, and who doesn't only do it during a political campaign or in a press release or during a press conference, but who believes that we can get New York State back on track by passing a taxpayer bill of rights and capping state spending. If we just capped state spending at the rate of inflation, we would have saved over $21 billion in the previous 3 years. That's how we get New York State back on track. I had the track record to prove it. He'll do a song and dance tonight and say he does, but the facts show the other.
Mr. Ball, just to be specific, you mentioned school consolidations. Could you tell us what specific steps you would take in that?
Yeah, I got to tell you, I mean, I think BOCES is a perfect example where it has, some steps have begun to move forward in a progressive way. I was in a room full of superintendents who said, well, we would support consolidation. I mean, we have superintendents making nearly more than the President of the United States. They have assistants to assistants to assistants. And in that room, they said, sure, we'd be up for it. Now, if you ask them which one of you are we going to eliminate, they may say, hey, watch now. And that's where you need a leader, not a politician. Because if we're going to consolidate the Village of Brewster into the town of Southeast, if we're going to consolidate the Village of Pawling into the town of Pawling, if we're going to touch the sacred cow of these districts, including school districts, it's going to take a leader who's willing to take the hits, who can survive those hits, and pull the community together to get that tough work done. Otherwise, it's only going to be an issue during election time and in editorial board meetings. And we spend over $4 billion a year in duplicative government services. In fact, as county legislator, if he really was a reformer, he could have called for the elimination of the Westchester County Board of Legislators, which would have saved us an awful lot of money, and go back to a Board of Supervisors, which is a proposal that some like Jody Aguardi and myself have been working on for the past 2 years.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Mr. Kaplowitz.
Yes.
As chairman of the county's legislature's Committee on Government Operations, Efficiency, and Savings, you no doubt have insight here, a certified financial planner. On your website, you say you will look to lower taxes on businesses. So could you, sir, please be specific about what steps you will take to
I'd like to answer this question if I could, please. Generally, you ask a question, and both of us have a chance to do that, if you don't mind. Assemblyman Greg Ball is certainly entitled to his own opinion. Assemblyman Greg Ball is not entitled to his own facts. The facts are that Westchester County, by his own admission, Putnam County, Rockland, Dutchess, all the New York metropolitan counties have faced tremendous stress. And we've worked very hard to control our costs. In fact, he's going to hold up a silly chart. It shows 4.2%. I'll do the math for you. 4.2% increase annually since 1997.
Actually,
I've not been, sir, please.
I
have the floor. I have the floor, please. Okay, I will not interrupt you, sir. Okay.
Correct your
Since
fact.
I have the floor, please.
Yes, sir.
Since 1997, costs have been up, and I've been chairman 4 years therein. 4.2 is almost half of what New York State has been since that period of time, point one. Point two, I have saved $120 million by going through every single line and every single program. Works out to $10 million per year, or 2% tax decrease, because of Mike Kaplowitz and other colleagues that have joined me. Things like a helicopter that we saved $3.1 million. The women's jail that we closed that saved $4.5 million. Personnel, overtime. I don't take a paid cell phone. This gentleman does. I don't take reimbursements on my car.
Mr. Kaplowitz, I don't mean to interrupt you, but we do have to move along, and I just wanted to get back to my specific question about what you will do if elected.
Yes, thank you. I'm getting to the question. And so we need to set the record straight, because you need to understand that the root problem is Albany, to Albany. Your question was on consolidation. The problem is that the Attorney General's legislation that was passed did not allow for school districts and other taxing entities. My opponent is not right. It's not 5,000. It's over 10,000 taxing entities here in the state of New York. And we need to provide the ability for schools, which is 60 to 70% of our property tax, not the county level. Every valiant effort we are doing, it's spitting in the ocean. It's Albany that's the problem, because they make the counties and the towns and the school districts spend dollars on things that they must spend without the dollars to make it happen, and we need to provide the relief. I'm running for New York State Senate because that's the head of the river. That's where the solutions are, and that's, in fact, where I'm going to be able to bring consolidation, reducing spending, and getting the fiscal house in order. You cannot spend more than you make. That's a precept in business as a financial planner, as a government official, and I will bring that precept